Welcome back to some professional Starcraft 2, or something damn close to it. Some top Grandmaster players fighting it out. Now, full disclosure, this game was sent to me, as many of the replays are, by these top players. And it was sent to me by Game Time. The Brick Zerg loves his roaches, not a finesse-oriented player, but a very passionate one. And I think it's important to share with you the title that he gave a title to the replay, and he sent it to me for that reason. And the title, now, apologies for my mature language, as this is a Christian Minecraft server, but what the fuck was that? So I don't know what the fuck it is, but whatever it is, has created confusion, concern, and general disorder in Game Time's mind. And will he ever recover? Probably. He'll probably be fine. But I don't have any other information than that. I don't know if he wins the game, but he's up against Orion, who's a competent North American Pro Toss player. Now, in my experiences, he does play a little bit of an odd strategy, but I can't for the life of me recall, so we're just going to have to watch and find out. Game Time likes to get a solid mid-game economy. He's a timing-oriented player. That's a designated pressure, even, depending on who you ask and what you want to call it. But not nearly as comfortable if the game goes later. You got a lot of things like Storm and Tempest. Handling it, once again, not a finesse-oriented player. So, less of a hammer and chisel and more of a bigger hammer for Game Time. But Orion, who knows? 6 Zerglings on the way. A bit of a stylistic choice, making sure there's enough to deal with the Adept, just shut it down, and also potentially be a threat on the other side of the map. We might not all have, but the Game Time special, of course, the North American top-tier build, which consists of making a bunch of Zerglings and hoping your opponent doesn't have too many units, and then killing them. A lot more. It's worked against Neeb. It's worked against pretty much every Protoss, and they're all still salty about it, I guarantee you, if you ask them. But that's not it yet. That comes a little later if he decides. A Stargate will be scouted by the first Overlord. He does have one for backup as well. The third base not taken very quick. In fact, Game Time choosing to delay it. Oh, the Zerglings! Ah! No, they can get in! Game Time. Quite sloppy. Okay. There was an opportunity to get Zerglings in and maybe do some damage, but once... Hammer. Adept shades out, gets a pretty good scout that there's not going to be a huge amount of Lings. The Lings will come back on the other side. Will Orion be able to escape? He starts off with a Phoenix. The Zergling speed is done, but the Adept is out of there. Does he recall it? No, he's just going to try to save it outright. I think he's going to kill this off. Game Time is on the chase. The Adept juking and jiving. Looks like it's going to make it all the way home.
What a save!
And before the Zerglings can get in, the probe! Okay, the probe's stuck on the outside, but the Zergling's not going to get through. Game Time not able to catch a break. Wait, what? He built a robo. He canceled the gate and built a robo. There's already 2 more gases on the way, indicating a heavy tech play out of Orion. So it's going to be your classic Phoenix and then Oracle. Now Game Time has described this Overlord he has right here as the tactical Overlord. Now, I'm making up words for it. So essentially what you do is you put it in a random location, and because it's such a random location, the Phoenix usually doesn't find it because it's so dumb. I feel like it's partially an excuse because he misclicked his Overlord a lot of the time, but give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess. A bunch of Zerglings out to deny a third, and there is not nearly enough on the ground in order to be able to establish it. So, only 35 drones for Game Time. There is an investment. Just because he can't take a third doesn't mean Game Time's way ahead on economy or anything like that. He has to catch up, especially with the Overlord killing a couple. He's going to keep the Oracle alive, which is going to help out a lot. Behind this, the Templar Archives in charge. The Adept's going to stay on point, if he can bait a few out and surround and kill them with the Zerglings, well, that's the ideal scenario, but I don't know how likely that is to happen. Orion making some cute moves here, but Game Time is working his way up the tech tree. Lair is done. Hydralisk Den should be joining us as soon as he has the gas for it. Melee attack is coming up. A lot of Zerglings already on the field, 27 in fact. The Oracle doesn't really have the energy to be just sitting with its light turned on, as it does cost energy to activate. And the War Prism, I believe, has snuck out. The Hydralisk Den has begun, but there's only Lings and Banes against what is going to be an Archon drop for a time, which does not go great. How many only 3 queens. Creep is not spread towards the main. The Archon drop will get some damage done, and this should open up an opportunity to take a third. The Lings are pulling back. At this point, Game Time's starting to realize, okay, shenanigans are indeed afoot. Or aflight, actually. The Archon drop heading towards the main. A few Banelings. This will be scouted out. He might have an opportunity to warp in. Charge is nearly done as well, so a few charge lots could really muck things up here, even when the Hydras get out. This will open up the third base. Orion getting it a little bit later, but oh, Game Time's at 67 drones. If he can hold this with minimal drone losses and without losing all his units, I know that's a great concern to have, and he's in an okay position. Already loses a few. The Archons, their shields are gone, but the Banelings have been exhausted as well. The Hydras don't have the greatest DPS. Plus one melee not quite done yet. The Archons closing the distance. The splash damage of the Psionic Shockwave is devastating. He's in the mineral line now. Drones, not a great counter to Archons. Really bad counter to Archons, in fact. As he loses 12, he's down to 57, but the attack will be held for now. Not at a cheap cost. He lost a lot of Zerglings. 12 drones, 3 Hydras, 36 Lings so far this match. Not the end of the world, but I'd say that's definitely a win for Orion. The only downside for him is he didn't get the Archons out, but there's no way Game Time can attack. He has so limited units that there's no pressure that can be put on that third base. Phoenix is finding some of the Tactor Lords. Still pretty sure he just accidentally rallied this out, but whatever you say. A fourth base being taken, but Orion is already heading over there. Smart decision-making with the War Prism, knowing the main base is probably not as ripe of a target as it was earlier. Orion's setting everything up to get the zombie toss death ball, that fearsome immortal Archon charge lot, and then icing on the cake Storm. He's up against a relatively low economy Zerg going for the very heavy layer tech, which means if he can just get stay on 3 bases, he gets a half a dozen Templar, a half a dozen Archons, a half a dozen Immortals, and he rolls his way across the map, he will be embodying the source of many Zerg tiers from 2 to 7k MMR. Cyril's above 7k, by the way, so just for reference. One of the very few. No one on North America is above 7k. Literally, like, people are not good enough, so everyone is a lower MMR, because no one is quite good enough to beat everyone to bring everyone else's MMR up. Except when Cyril plays. I think he gets over 7. Anyways, the base. The charge lot's targeting it down. It's not going to be enough. The Baneling's not going to close the distance in time. He will not save it. An Observer in a nice position to actually see any units moving around. He knows how many are being kept at home in many of these scenarios. Everything looking great for Orion right now. Now, remember, Game Time said, what the fuck was that? Nothing I've seen thus far has given me that impression. Sure, a little bit of a sloppy pressure with the Zerglings. The Archon drop did some damage, but an Archon drop... Oh my god. Oh, come back. Oh my god. This is a Twitch chat Grandmaster play right here. Burrow the Hydras, pop them out campaign style. Oh, I don't know if he should have that many Hydras, bro. That's like 20 supply of Hydras. That's a bit much. But burrowed Hydras. If he can catch the Prism, then that opens up the rest of the map. The Prism just keeps anchoring him back at home. The Prism will be recalled. The Phoenix has 3 kills and counting now. But here comes Game Time coming across the map. The one thing Orion doesn't have quite at this moment is a solid army composition. Like, He's got a strong army composition, but a couple waves of Zerg could wash it away. And can we get some better music here? Oh my god, gimme. That's better. I'm listening to this ambient. This is not a hotel lobby. This is war! Or at least it will be in just a few moments. He's actually utilizing Burrow against... Now, without lurkers spotted, not many players will invest in... they won't invest in observers, especially if they're on one robo, chronoing out immortals. A couple charge lots to the left side. This is a big commitment. No stasis ward here to block. The army a little disjointed. The Banelings, oh my god, that was the most obvious Burrow of all time, but he actually boxes out the army with the Banelings. The Templar are coming through. They're in a dangerous place. There is... Oh, but he gets the Banelings unburrowed and kills the Templar! What a play! But at the same time, Game Time losing his base. Every time a Baneling attacks, it dies. It's a very sad life. The Storm's being dodged out. The Templar count has dwindled to 1, and no energy on it either. The base is gone. The Warping in the main, unfortunately the Hydras from there were called to the front. A good spread here will make it... The Hydra's actually going to beat the Immortals and Archons. They're going to knock down all those powerful units. A handful of Zerglings working their way through. Looks like some Banelings rolled in and crushed the probes as well. But the charge lots are in the main. They're fighting against the Zerglings, trying to target down the lair. There should be enough in just a moment. Charge lots are on the third base. The Zerglings eventually cleaned up. It's 48 to 47 workers. Game Time dipping under the halfway line. The Hydras could get on top of the War Prism. So much going on right now. The charge lots on the chase on the drones. Down goes the Prism. No more option to attack from the back. Now, what is left on the ground? What's the unit count looking like? 3 Immortals. No Archons. He's building some more now. Will he choose to go Archons? Or will he try to wait for Storm? Storm usually better, but it takes time. Smoke clears. Game Time 37 drones. Orion 53 probes. Both players with... Actually, Game Time only has 2 bases left. And his third base is super vulnerable. Oh my god, the Phoenix is still here. There are some burrowed Banes throughout the map. Stasis wards. Stasis ward's not going to help. Oh, dangerous game. The Stasis ward triggers a beautiful one. Those Hydras... Oh, he spots the second, but... 7 Hydras now trapped in limbo. Probably purgatory. And they're probably not going to be going to heaven. But a lot of Hydraslings and Banes come in to try to reinforce their brothers. The Banelings trickling through, 1 Storm used. The Banelings actually kind of dodging it out. The Stasis will save them from the Storms. The Hydra's in a good position here. There's a couple more Storms at the back, but is there the damage output that is needed to work through this Hydra ball? These Banelings are actually super dangerous here. They're enough to help block out the third base. And now Orion is bashed back to 2. Game Time's still struggling for economy. He's expanding. He has places to mine, but drones are in short supply. The army now better for Orion, I would say. But the economy... Well, actually, the army better for Game Time, but the economy is... Well, it's real low on both sides. It's hard to tell. Because he needs enough Storms to work through the bigger chunks of this. He can't have 20 Hydras at the front door. He needs Storm to get through that. But at the same time, Game Time can't afford to stop building units, because if he lets up on the pressure for too long, then Orion will get that Storm. And it doesn't matter how many Hydras you have if there's a dozen Storms on the field. Another Warp Prism is going out. I think it was spotted by Game Time. He may have just barely dodged out. This base so important. The Revelation doesn't tag many. That's a lot of Banelings coming in. 17 Banes. Storm at the front, gonna whiff. Big warping. There's nothing to really see there. A few more drones by Game Time. These Banelings +2 attack means they 2-shot Templar and do great damage all around. Coming in, the Archons try to hold the line. The base will be canceled once again, but the charge lots backstab. A very key point. The counterattack gonna pull Game Time back. The drones are fighting. He's gonna lose the hatch, and he may be losing some drones in just a moment here. What is going on with those charges? Anyways, more drones are going to go down. 45, 46, and counting have been lost in this match. And I don't think we've seen the end of it yet. 48 drones, 33 probes. The thing is, Orion just... On a burrowed ling! Will he storm it? Will he storm it or use Archon Splash? Do it. The Warp Prism. The Warp been taken out. Storm it. I believe. He's he gonna make an observer? He knows there's a Broodling there. Oh, he made it out. Okay. So, the real danger here for Orion is the Hydra count. Whereas for game time, it is letting this army composite... Like, it is letting Orion have an economy, because while his army is super strong right now, as long as game time has an economy and Orion is essentially pinned on one base of mining, then all he has to do is beat the army once. That's all that matters. Banelings get some I'm sorry, that was me with the camera. That wasn't the Banelings. That was the best he was going to get with the Observer coming across. A massive spread coming out from the brick. The Hydra's a little bit out of position. The rest are coming in from the other side. The Banelings trickling through, not doing much to the first wave of Archons. Another storm on the ramp. Banelings from the back. The Hydras, can they get the Warp Prism? That's a key point of this. This army just so strong. A beautiful storm coming up, but the Warp Prism now exposed. The reinforcements are going to be gone if he loses that, and it is gone. The Observer gives him vision of the ramp, the storms. He has one or two more. Beautiful storms. Game time, the Hydra count is dipping. 11 more Hydras are on the way. He makes Archons with both. He's chasing down game time, another Archon picked up. 11 more Hydras, but he's targeting down the Hydras. One Immortal finally taken out. There are 3 left on the front line. 2 Archons, incredibly scary with +2 attack. The Immortal's trying to juggle back. In comes the Oracle, which is actually going to be an important part of the damage here. The Immortal finally, 8 kills, finally taken out. Game time desperately trying to put enough units on the field to kill 2 Archons and 1 Immortal. In come a handful of charge lots. 9 more Hydras in the production tab in the mail right now, but he needs them to deliver. The charge lots continue forward. Archon, shields are down. 10 HP left in the bank. Immortal barrier is 10 seconds from being up. More Hydras. He's against the clock. There's a probe here. Archon taken out. A key part of this entire army. Everything. The probes! The probes are pulled! Everything he can get in front. But he already lost the Immortal. How many charge lots are left? There's 1 Archon. There's 2. There's 4 High Templar, though. Are probes a real damaging part of this army? He just cannot mine. He's long distance mining with the other probes. He just can't build anything more. A decent storm to start. He needs big storms, and then he needs... Oh, another one! The water balloon's coming out from the Templar. He wants to use the storms as quick as possible and then morph Archons. He needs to do it now. The probes will box out. He can kill anything coming out of this hatch. The probes die very quickly, but buy time for the Archons. The Archon targeted. Game time, he can turn and fire at it. The group spreads. Oh no, the probes! The probes! Boxing out! The probes are bullying the Hydras forward. Game time trying to target down Archons, but each attack, so much damage. In come the drones. He's on top of the Hydras. The Archons, the shields are gone. The last Archon stands, and the last Archon falls. GG. Game time takes it. What the fuck was that? The balance of game time not letting him have an economy, but Orion keeping game time anchored long enough to maybe break through. It took a little bit, but that game went dramatically sideways. If you like, now obviously neither of those players top pros, so a little bit sloppy, but I think it's the best. Sometimes it's better if it's a little bit sloppy. Press that like button if you